Hey, Twisted listeners. I'm Cindy,
And I'm Diva.
and this is Twisted Listeners, a podcast about murder.
And lists.
And this is part 2 of Shocking Confessions. This could be, or shocking testimony, I guess, or witness statements.
Mm-hmm.
It could be by the killer
Yes.
or by somebody who saw the killer. And
Yes.
I think we should just get into it, right?
Yeah,
We have
let's
nothing
do
to
it.
talk
We're joined by
about.
two cats. That's cool.
Yeah, mine just like moved my microphone. I don't know if you heard him. Um,
Mm.
yeah. Oh, I did
Honorary
want to
guests
say,
of the podcast, Luna and Mookie.
yeah, yeah. I did want to say Wayne Adam Ford, the one that I did, where I said his first
Yeah.
victim was a Jane Doe to this day. Actually, last June, they identified her as 25-year-old Carrie Ann
Oh,
Cummings.
very
So,
interesting.
mhm.
Okay.
I felt bad because I was still referring to her as a Jane Doe, and then I found an article when I was like,
Gotcha.
yeah. Anyway, so there it is. There's her name, 25 years old.
Okay.
Um, yeah, killed by that piece of shit. But moving on, I am going to talk about another innocent woman's death. This is the death of Diane Winston. Um, this takes place in Richmond, Virginia. And no, that's not right. Yeah, Richmond, Virginia. Yeah, no, that's right. That is right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Confusing myself. Anyway, so her name was actually Carmela Diane Winston. She was 52 years old. She just went by Diane. Diane here looks like a sassy lady. Okay. She likes
Okay.
to wear Timberland boots. She likes to wear
Like it?
gold chains and flannels. And she looks, I don't know, she looks sassy. Her family, of which she has many members, said that she was fun loving. She could be as mean as a snake, was another thing they said about her.
Oh, okay.
She took no shit, and
Okay.
she was a beloved aunt and daughter, uh, and just member of this family. So she
Yeah.
and her mother, and I believe three children, ages 8, 6, and 4, were driving from like a Sunday dinner to another relative's house when this happens. And they were driving to this relative's house in Gilpin Court, which is like a project, kind of like their projects in Richmond, Virginia. Now, these projects
Okay.
are full of people who do not talk to the cops. It's kind of a both unspoken and
Yeah.
spoken rule that you do not talk to the police, and I don't blame them, and I support
Yeah.
that. I think
Yeah.
that's
For good reason.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for good reason. So she is in her car getting ready to park and get out and go visit her family when all of a sudden gunshots ring out. And her mother looks over and she sees Diane has been hit by a bullet, and she's basically laying there in the car bleeding, like slumped over. So they call 911 and the police come. She was not dead when they arrived, but died shortly thereafter. So
Okay.
hopefully not a terribly painful situation, but I don't think it was good, you know.
No. No.
Two
Bad way to go.
no, not great. And also again, three children in the car with her witnessing this.
Oh,
They're 8 years
God.
old, 6 years old, and 4 years old. All of
Yeah,
them.
quick PTSD. Yeah.
Yes. And she was their aunt. And
Yep.
like I said, a beloved aunt.
Oh, horrible.
You know, it's really bad. The 6-year-old later said afterwards, my life is falling apart. Like
Oh,
she yeah,
God.
this little girl was
No
so
kid should
fucked up.
even like think to say that.
Hmm. Yeah,
It's horrible.
it's really fucked. So, uh, Diane, one of the reasons that she was so beloved by many of her nieces and nephews, of which she had many, it wasn't just the three in the car, was because her sister, 20 years earlier, had been shot and killed in Gilpin Court. So her sister was killed the same place she was 20 years prior.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. So, very sadly, her mother is witnessing another one of her daughters being killed in the same place. It's got to be re traumatizing and just fucking horrifying, obviously. And so police come. Nobody saw anything. Nobody saw anything. Nobody saw anything. Nobody would come forward. Nobody would say anything. So police start knocking on doors. And one of the reasons that police do this, they knock on every single door, because that way, if somebody does say something, nobody has any idea who it was. They're not just going to one person's door. This one person isn't getting called out. They're asking everybody, and it's a safer way to get people to trust the police and tell them things. So they go to one witness's house and they knock on his door. He answers. His wife is behind him. This man's name is Kenneth Moore. And he answers the door. He's 34 years old, by the way. And the police talk to him and he says, I didn't see anything. But then he also says, I don't know. Maybe you should look for evidence in the alley over there. So police go to the alley
Mm,
that he pointed at and they find shell casings. And so now they
okay.
kind of figure out where the shooter was when they shot, or did what they did. So police
Okay.
kind of sit on this information and they're like, we think he knows more than he, is letting on. And about a week later, they come back and they talk to him again. Now, Kenneth and his wife and their children had moved recently. This is October 2016. I made a big deal about finding the date and then didn't even mention it. But they had moved recently to Richmond, Virginia to be closer to his ailing mother because she was sick. She needed help from the family. So he and his wife, they didn't have a ton of money, but they picked up and moved their family to Richmond to kind of help out. They had not been there that long. They didn't know that many people. So I think it was difficult for them to decide to come forward because, you're trying to make your life in this community and you're going to be seen as like a snitch, like right off the bat, like that's not good.
Yeah.
So
No.
police, they wait about a minute or a minute, sorry, they wait about a week and they go back and they talk to Kenneth again and he decides to tell them the truth. So he tells them, my wife and I had just gone to get groceries. She went in the house with the groceries, and he even admitted this to them. He said, I stayed back in the car. I was smoking a blunt. And I was relaxing, and I saw two men ride up on bicycles. And the next thing I know, I hear gunshots. I see these men firing, 4 or 5 times toward one of the high rises that's in Gilpin Court.
Okay.
Obviously, these are the bullets that hit Diane, and police saying, can you identify this man? And he says, I can, I think. And so they take him in to the police station and they give him a lineup, they give him photos. And he picks out two guys. And then from those two guys, they say, well, you got to pick one. And he points to a man who was wearing like a black hoodie and was kind of hard to see. And he says, that's the guy. And the guy that he
Okay.
picked out ended up being the shooter, which is kind of crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was right. This guy's name was George Watson Scott. He's 23. He had been in trouble in and out, before. And then once this guy came forward and said, that was him, I know for a fact, yada yada, other people kind of came forward and they were like, yeah, this was the guy. So this testimony was kind of, and not very many other people came forward, but like a few. He was the only one that
Yeah.
was like the star witness kind of deal. And this is what got this man arrested. Sorry, guys, I had to take a quick break there. Um,
Cindy's
I
working.
am. So, okay. So anyway, he goes down to the police station, he points the guy out, and he becomes like the key witness. So somebody else, like I said, they had other witnesses. Basically, somebody anonymously called and was like, the guy who shot that woman is goes by Rabbit. Like that's like his like street name. And then this anonymous caller calls back and they said, oh, his last name is Scott. So that's what really tied it
Okay.
together because somebody saying like, oh, this guy's last name is Scott, but nobody knows who he is. And then independently, Kenneth here, picks a guy, George Watson Scott, out of a lineup. So things are kind of aligning between like the anonymous call and then this guy. Now, they arrest this kid and they go to trial, and it's basically the only thing is this guy Kenneth's testimony. And he is really reluctant to testify because the people that live in Gilpin Court and in that area are like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you don't do this. But, like, we
Yeah.
take care of our own.
Right.
We don't do this. But he goes and he testifies. And it's almost for nothing because, first of all, Kenneth is a felon for theft. He has a
Okay.
felony theft charge, which like I don't even think should be a thing, but I think he stole from
No.
his work, which like God forbid you steal money from, probably white people. That's gonna be
People who owe
yeah,
you your
yeah.
wage,
That
thieved wages, but
right?
okay.
Yeah. So that's a felony.
Yeah.
And then also his admitting that he had smoked a blunt like in the moments before he saw this happen, the defense attorneys were all over that. They were like,
Oh my
they were like,
god.
he was impaired, he
Stupid.
doesn't know what he's talking about, whatever.
Yeah, you don't go, like, blackout, like, you're more likely to have impaired memory from drinking, I
Right.
think,
Right,
actually.
exactly. So he goes on the stand, the defense says this, uh, but the jury believes him. The jury believes that he knows what he saw. This kid has other, things against him from previous. And yeah, basically the jury decides that they are going to convict him. And he is given life in prison for the death of this poor woman, which is really fucked up. So the defense, they also argued that, it shouldn't be like first degree murder because she wasn't the intended target. They were shooting into a building trying to like hit somebody else. And they also can't prove, that he was the one to do it. But this did not work. And he got life in prison, which is pretty crazy considering that this is literally just on one man's eyewitness testimony, which I kind of wish I had done this case with the last half since
Mm,
you did one where multiple
yeah,
people were like eyewitnesses and
just
they were like,
missing
that's
them,
not
yeah,
enough to convict. Yeah. But this guy, one dude who was high, which like I don't think matters, came forward and was like, I saw him shoot her, even though he was wearing like, dark clothes and whatever. And they deemed that was enough,
yeah,
So it's just interesting how that kind of works. Now, Kenneth and his wife, as I said, had kind of just recently moved to the area. They were there so that they could, be closer to his mother and sort of have more family time and whatnot. It did not work out as he expected. He ended up being targeted very, very quickly after this all happened. So within 3 weeks of the trial ending, Kenneth was in his car outside of a store when he saw three men approaching him with a
ugh,
gun.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Or no, with bricks and sticks. He said he
Oh,
thought they had a gun, but they were actively holding bricks and sticks.
okay.
Yeah. His wife was like, "Why didn't you just run them over?" And he's like, "You think I want to bring more trouble to our family? Like, these people are fucking out to get us. This dude's friends are gonna fuck us up."
Yeah, it'll only
So
bring
they
on worse shit.
Yeah. They ended up calling the police because the police were like, "We can offer you protection if you testify." And so they did, and they applied for housing elsewhere. They ended up within a month living elsewhere in Virginia, kind of in the middle of nowhere. He's no longer close to his family. The police department did help to pay for their moving costs, but after that, they did nothing. So this family got, moved farther away from their family. They were threatened. Their children were in danger. And now they live in the middle of nowhere in Virginia with little to no income and absolutely no help from anybody. So this guy really got kind of punished for doing the right thing.
Yeah,
Um, this whole thing to me feels very racist. Like on all sides. The
for
fact
sure.
that the shooter was found guilty on one person's testimony, like I don't I don't have an opinion whether or not this kid did it. Like I think he probably did, especially since somebody else also named him. But the fact that it was so easy to put a 23-year-old away for the rest of their life without any like actual evidence is
Yeah,
interesting to me. Whether or not it's right is, I think, secondary to like why it happened. And then this man who was convinced to do the right thing being kind of left on his own after doing the right thing, I think is also very telling of the way things happen. So that's my story. Really fucking
Wow.
kind
Just
of
the
frustrating.
witness testimony alone is what was like
One,
everything. Yeah.
one, one witness.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
fucking crazy. So anyway, that's my one. I kind of wish I'd done it yesterday so it would align with, or yesterday. We didn't record 2 days in a row. Uh,
Yeah.
it wasn't yesterday, it was a couple days ago, but I wish I'd done it with the last one because I think it would have been a really interesting case to put up against yours,
Yeah.
to kind of show, the
What is
difference.
time? What are days?
What is
What day is
time?
it?
I know. I know. Anyway, so that's my story. What's yours?
Okay. Well, I don't want to say mine is fun, but there is a fun twist. It still is a murder. Um,
Okay.
uh,
Right.
okay. So this is the case of Marty Duram, and Glenna Duram. This happened in
Okay.
2015 in Sand Lake, Michigan. Marty was 46 at that time. Glenna, his wife, was 48. They had been married for 11 years and by many accounts had a happy
Okay.
marriage. I'll say by some accounts, right? Um,
Right.
Marty had 3 adult kids from a previous marriage. They got married in like their mid-30s, so they had time to have previous marriages.
Right. And
Um,
to me that always seems like you at least hope the marriage is going to be happier because like you've had a chance to like do it wrong and now
right.
you're going to do it right theoretically. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So yeah, he had 3 adult kids. Glenna had 2 of her own. So there's 5 between them all. But they're kind of
Okay.
older kids. Crazily, Marty was actually in a really bad car accident in 1995 that left him with serious brain damage, and this meant he actually couldn't remember his first marriage or any of his children's births,
Oh my god. Oh, that's
which that's
terrible.
horrible and wild that that can just like happen.
Yeah.
Also, there's thunder right now.
Oh yeah, it was over here really bad before. I was going to mention it to you. See, you are going to get rain.
I'm like, "What
It's
is that
raining over here
sound?"
completely
Okay.
unexpectedly. Yeah,
So
really fucking
weird.
loud.
We don't
Mhm.
hear that a lot here.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, back to Marty here. He couldn't remember his first marriage. Super sad.
Yeah.
So his wife Glenna has some fucking issues. So Glenna,
Oh.
that she keeps hidden. She's
Mm.
really addicted to gambling.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, sometimes she and Marty did go to casinos together, but he did not know the extent of like what she was doing in private. Um,
Mhm.
she hid a large amount of gambling debt from him, and there was also a lot of financial issues that resulted from this, like their home had been foreclosed on,
Mhm.
and it was set to be auctioned off in 2015 on May 12th, which we'll come back to.
Okay.
Her gambling issue was such that on a family trip to visit Marty's brother in 2012, I think in Montana, she literally had to stop and gamble at every casino they passed. And his brother said that that was like really annoying. Like we have to go, and she's like, "No, I'm gambling," you know.
Mhm.
She would secretly throw in tons of money, like $100 bills at a time, into slot machines, which
Jesus.
is very stupid to do.
Mhm.
Like if you're gonna gamble, at least do like something that takes skill, like card games or something.
Yeah.
Like the slot machines are a scam. Like you're not gonna ever win. It's like extra sad. Um, but yeah, it
Right.
seems to be what a
Right.
lot of gambling addict type people are doing.
Mhm.
In 2010 alone, Glenna reportedly gambled away about $75,000.
How do they even have the money to do that? Like that's
Like,
wild.
yeah, it's basically all their money. They're not like super wealthy
Jesus.
people.
Right.
And during this time, she was also missing payments on bills at home. So things were falling apart because she, again, is spending all the money. And
Mhm.
she's super distracted. So,
Right.
ironically, Marty was actually known by everyone who knew him to be a really frugal kind of penny pincher who
Mhm.
would like even turn off the heat to save a buck in the winter. Like he's like very, very cheap. He wouldn't splurge on like anything for
Mhm.
himself. He's always
Ugh.
trying to save a buck, and clearly had saved up something, which now Glenna is like blowing through, right?
Right.
Um, from 2010 on, Marty's brain injury also and its effects kind of started to get worse. And
Mhm.
Glenna was earning money for being his caretaker because and he also was raking in his disability money. So she was taking all of that and just like gambling with it.
Oh. Oh wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and even though he has severe brain damage and he's becoming increasingly unable to function, he also hunted. So the house was
Oh
filled.
no.
Yeah, so it's a random note here. I was like, that's wild.
It's a really
The
good
house,
combo of stuff.
great combo. So the house was filled with trophies and like mounted animal heads and shit too because he was a big hunter.
Mhm.
Like okay, um,
Oof.
oh, phew, all right. So
Mm-mm.
in April 2015, Marty's mom called him and said, "Oh, hi, Mookie. Our
Sorry,
cats are
that's not what
snuggling."
his mom said. He
No,
just,
she's.
yeah, I had to show you my snuggly cat.
I'm snuggling Luna right here. I don't think you can see it, but she's a baby.
Oh, I see her eyes. Yeah, little
Is it
baby.
blurry?
Mm-hmm. She's a cutie though.
Anyway, she's really cute. You can see that
Anyway,
I'm
okay.
cradling her. Okay.
Cat
Marty's
moment.
mom called him and said that she saw a notice in the paper about their home getting foreclosed on, like a public notice. And Marty, can you imagine his horror? He's like, "What
Yeah.
the fuck?"
What are you talking about? Yeah.
So he's like, "Let me talk to Glenna." And it seemed like it was the kind of thing where she set it up as an auto pay and she took care of it. I remember he's also disabled at this time, so it makes sense that she might take care of some of that stuff for him, right? And that he would like not have to
Right.
think about it.
Yeah.
Um, she claimed it was a
Jesus.
mistake and that she would call and like fix it. That's kind of dismissed it. But
Mm-hmm.
clearly it doesn't go away. And Marty must have been getting like furious. On April 28th, 2015, a foreclosure notice was officially placed on the home, like the paper.
Oof. Yeah.
And no payments had been made on the home, by the way, in the entire past year. So this is like they gave
So
him a lot of
even
time.
wow. So like even after he's calling her out, she's just like, nah, like
She
just
doesn't
not
she
handling
doesn't
it.
do anything. Well, she doesn't have the money, I think, to pay it.
But I
Like
mean,
she
she
spent
has
it
a
all.
little bit of income, right? Like
She spent it
for his
all though. Yeah, that's true.
disability.
There is some income, but clearly it's not enough to,
Yeah.
make a difference at this point, or she's still gambling it away. Who knows?
Right.
Um,
Jesus Christ, dude.
Later bank statements from this time would show, though, to answer your question, the family was actually like pretty broke, other than like the income that's coming in. All of their savings had been depleted. She had gambled like everything they had away.
Hmm.
Um, and so shit is just a mess for Glenna, and I guess more so because of Glenna. Um,
Yeah.
She also went off of her meds at this time that she had been taking for depression, so she's not super stable. And she was also having health issues, specifically severe bronchitis, and so they were getting more and more medical bills that she wasn't paying.
Oof.
So it's a hot fucking mess. Fast forward to May 12th. Remember, this was the day that the house was supposed to be auctioned off, right?
Right.
Alarm bells are first raised by a cross the street neighbor and very good friend of the couple named Connie Ream. Connie texts Glenna and gets no response. And she's so alarmed
Mm,
that the next day, the 13th, she actually is somehow able to enter their home. I don't know if it was like just unlocked or if she had a key or what, or the
right.
back door or something. But she enters their home and finds the couple. Marty had been shot 5 times with a handgun. Um, and
Oh.
Glenna had been shot one time, kind of around her ear area, behind her ear, one shot to the head. Glenna was,
Oh.
yeah.
I thought he was going to be the aggressor.
Oh, really?
I did.
Because he's fucking
Yeah.
pissed? Yeah, that would make sense too.
Mhm.
No, so Glenna was able to recover, and Marty passed away from his injuries, obviously, pretty immediately.
Oh shit.
Hmm.
Uh-oh.
So this is obviously kind of a failed murder-suicide.
Mhm.
Um, Connie called the authorities, and in a weird detail, the fire people and EMTs don't notice that Glenna is still alive, and only later on in the night does she kind of have a surprise, like "Bubba," like
Are
one
you
of
fucking kidding me?
yeah, when a state trooper actually checks her for a pulse, and her eyes open, she kind of jerks awake, like straight sitting up, like "Hey, what's going on?" And they're all like, "Oh Jesus Christ, we thought you were dead." Um,
Oh my god, dude.
the following day, the I think her 2 kids bust into the home and do their own kind of poking around. They find a
Mhm.
manila envelope with letters written by Glenna to her ex-husband and to her 2 kids. In them, she asks her ex to take care of the kids, and in the letters to the kids, she apologizes, and begs for forgiveness.
Mhm.
They give these letters over to the police, but unfortunately, the kids don't mention that they actually also took about $1,500 in cash from the safe, um, which
Oh.
isn't a protocol. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, so her kids are kind of shitty.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
A
Um,
little bit.
Maybe a little bit. So during the investigation, police look at Glenna's cell phone records and they find that the night of the murder between 3:30 and 5 a.m., she looked up information on Ruger guns, which I assume is the kind of gun in question.
Yeah.
Then she texted her mom right at the end of that time frame, "Love you, sorry."
Oh, get
So
out of here.
yeah.
Okay. It's pretty obvious.
Which also it's kind of rude that like her kids get these little letters and the mom just gets a text out. It's rude. Um,
Yeah.
like afterthought. Police hear from Marty's cousin's wife, by the way, who claims to be a psychic. This family is messy as hell.
Yeah.
So the cousin's wife is like a psychic, and she tells them to check under the couch and says there's something significant with the right hand. And to be fair, the murder weapon was found under the couch, and Marty was found with hair in his right hand, which I guess would be Glenna's or something. It would come to be significant. I did not follow up on the hair. But anyway, at probate hearings, this psychic relative weirdly ended up testifying for the defense in favor of Glenna.
How?
Um, that's what she chooses to do. And the
Okay.
family starts threatening her publicly on social media for doing that. So I just
Oh
like this
shit.
has no bearing on the case, really. I just wanted to note that this family is kind of like dramatic.
They're pretty wild. Yeah.
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 Um,
They sound fucking crazy.
they're weird. When Glenna is interviewed, somehow in October, so like a lot of months go by, and I guess maybe she's recovering. I'd like to think that's why. From the shot
So
to the
that they
head.
didn't arrest her?
Nope. She's
That's
just
weird.
chilling. But in
Okay.
October, they talk to her and she brings her mom along for the interview for some reason. She
Okay.
proclaims her innocence. She says she didn't remember writing those letters, but maybe they were something she wrote like long ago in the past. Okay. She says, quote, "I wouldn't shoot my husband. I'd be better off divorcing and leaving him." And it's like, all right.
Ah,
Um, yeah.
okay.
When asked about the cell record, she said she did not look up that gun information. She was only playing games on her phone at the time. So basically, when they're like, "Here's some facts," she's like, "No, that's your strategy.
Like those aren't real.
Those
I've
aren't real.
decided.
That didn't happen."
That
Took
didn't
the Donald
happen.
Trump school of thought. Just say the thing didn't happen.
Mhm.
Um, so as the investigation progresses, though, and here's our big witness testimony, it's very exciting. People keep asking the authorities if they have talked to a very important VIP witness, the Durham family parrot, an African gray named Bud.
I
Bud is
forgot this is where this is going.
Bud is really cute. Bud is awesome. Um, in March 2016, the family, well, okay, actually, Marty's ex-wife gives police a video because she retook ownership of this parrot because she had gotten Bud with Marty, and then
Mhm.
so she took Bud back
Okay.
after Marty was killed.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
So she gives police a video that was filmed a month after the murder that showed Bud imitating two very separate and distinct voices of people having an argument. And one
Oh
of
no.
them was yelling, "Shut up, get your ass over here." And then the other voice was saying, "Don't fucking shoot."
Oh my god.
And the ex-wife said she recognized those voices, and everyone said the voice saying "Don't fucking shoot" repeatedly was Marty's voice that he was imitating.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So again, she brings this forward, and they ask her kind of like, why didn't you bring this forward earlier? Because it's like a year later. And she said that she was bothered by it all along, but she just, for whatever reason, didn't bring it in. But she wanted to help move the case along. She was upset that things weren't like progressing. She wanted them to make an
Mhm.
arrest. And apparently, the parrot testimony does make a big impact by all accounts. Maybe they were working on things otherwise, but Bud fucking comes through. Um,
Mhm.
and 3 weeks after the shocking parrot testimony happens, Glenna was arrested for Marty's murder.
Is that what
Um,
did it? Like
I
was that
I
like the
don't
final
know.
nail?
I don't know, but I would like to say it is.
I like to think so.
Oh, is that really loud, Luna?
No, it's
No.
fine.
Okay. Um, yeah. So, Luna, stop it.
What a fucking trip, dude. That is so
Yeah.
crazy.
So my favorite thing ever was the chief investigator saying that he has no intentions, quote, of calling the parrot to the witness stand. He says, quote, "For one thing, how would you swear him in? Are you raising a wing? A foot?" I love that quote. I love that he played that out in his mind.
I know that he actually took time to think about that. I'm like, I don't think a parrot needs to swear to God. I just don't think so, you know?
Parrots are atheists. Yeah, they don't care. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Glenna is convicted. She gets life in prison.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, thanks to Bud. Again, maybe not, but I would like to say that it's thanks to Bud.
I mean, at least
Sh
that got the ball rolling.
He
It got the
helped.
ball rolling,
It
you know?
definitely
He
helped.
helped, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
He's really cute. Go check out if you want the adorable video from a local news channel in Michigan, the area where a journalist goes to meet Bud and talk to him, and it's really cute.
Aww.
I would never get a parrot because it's fucking loud as fuck, but I think they're very cute.
Yeah, they are. My brother had one called, named Buddy, actually.
Oh, Buddy and Bud.
He had a parrot, yeah. That's
There you
when you
go.
said that, I was like, "Oh, it's like my brother's bird," but, when he moved out of his dad's, house, they fucking got rid of the bird because 'cause they're assholes.
Oh,
Mhm. It
did
was a
they just
big
like let it
loss for him.
free into the air?
I have no idea. They probably sold it. Those things it was like
Mm.
a macaw. It was like a fucking
Oh,
$800 bird back then,
yeah,
you
those are
know?
fancy. Yeah,
Yeah, way more expensive now, but, like, this was a long time ago.
gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, very sad,
Mm,
that he lost that bird. Very fucking cool, that that bird caught that lady. Because what a
yeah,
dick.
yeah.
That's amazing. Well, good for him. Sorry my case was a little disjointed. I had many
It's
interruptions. I
okay.
hope I can
It was a quick part two. That's okay.
Yeah, it's pretty quick and easy, you guys.
Yeah.
I feel like they were all interesting cases, which I always love when that's the situation. And speaking of, what are we
Yes.
doing next week?
I told you before, and you were like,
I know.
okay." And I already made our list of lists.
Okay.
And it's gonna be called Manifest. Oh no, they didn't. Like, oh no, she
Woo!
didn't. Um,
Oh no, they didn't.
I had to look up what the real phrase of that is in like slang
Mhm.
because in my mind from RuPaul's Drag Race, which I know you don't watch, but in RuPaul's Drag Race, it's they say, "Oh no, she better don't." And so I was like, "Diva, it's not that. What is the phrase that is like spoofing? It's oh no, she didn't." Okay, so I had to like
Yeah.
look up what the original was because no one's gonna know the Drag Race reference.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't know it. You know I don't know
So
it.
but yeah, I just wanted to do a pun on manifestos. And last podcast is doing an Anders Breivik mega series right now, which I'm listening to, and that's what inspired it. So we don't have to do Anders
I
Breivik,
gotcha.
but
They've got that covered.
yeah, but it was like it's going to be a horrible topic that you'll hate because it's nonstop Nazi incel white dudes and mass shootings. Although
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I found at least like two cases that are kind of like a little bit different that aren't mass shootings.
Okay.
So, and maybe you can do like a smaller, like lesser known shooting type of thing, as opposed to
I
like
was
your
actually
large scale mass shooting.
I was gonna ask if I could, and we have a single serving of this from like way long ago,
Mm.
but I was gonna ask if I could do Israel Keys
Does he have a
because his
manifesto?
manifesto, kinda, he has like a suicide note, which is like big and long and really,
Uh, I guess that's
uh,
true. It is a long. No, you could call it a manifesto.
yeah, I think you could,
Okay.
and it has like poetry and shit in
I
it.
thought for sure that you were going to be good for Christopher Dorner because of,
Oh,
that's like so you.
yeah, it is. I'll do that one too.
Okay.
Oh, now everybody knows who we're doing.
Oh, sneak peek. Spoiler alert. Well, some people have turned it off maybe. So this is a little live negotiation.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
there
no,
was
I
also
wanna
one
do
in
Christopher
Bend that I
Dorner.
think was when you were in Bend, but I don't know if it's an interesting case
No, it was right after I left Bend,
after.
but that was a Safeway that we shopped at, so pretty
Oh my
fucking scary.
God. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, was Cindy there for that one?
No, it was after, but yeah, yeah, very
Yeah.
scary.
And there's another one on the list I was there for, which was the Isla Vista mass shooting, which I'm going to decline to cover at any time.
Yeah,
Too close to home.
yeah, yeah. Can we just talk about how crazy it is that both of us have been, like, that close
Very close to
already?
mass shootings.
Like,
Yeah. On the list. Um,
yeah.
yeah. Well,
Ugh, okay.
I'll do a horrible shooting. I was thinking, but anyway, we'll discuss more later, but
Yeah,
that's what
we'll
you,
figure it
that's what you
out.
have to look forward to.
Amazing.
Manifestos.
Alright,
They're fun to make
manifestos!
fun of because these guys are all assholes. So
Right,
we're all idiots.
right. Yeah, well, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
Christopher Dorner and Israel Keys, I'm feeling pretty good right now,
that's
so
solid. Yeah.
yeah, these are good. These are good cases. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. Please continue to like, rate, review, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your husbands, tell your wives, kill your kids. Maybe not your kids. All right, until the next week.
Stay
Off our
list.
list. Tell them.
Ciao.
Bye.